as yesterday. What I would tell you is that one of the biggest mistakes people have made is they want to be lazy and they don't draw these out separately. And then they're like, I don't know which numbers go where. Pull this picture apart into two separate triangles. Everybody agree I have a little right triangle. What numbers go on that little right triangle? 5 and 7.5. Then there's a big right triangle. What numbers go on that one?
X and
How'd you get 12?
adding the two sides.
Okay, so 4.5 only goes from here to here. So if I need this whole hypotenuse, I have to add these together, which absolutely is 12. Somebody raise your hand and set up the proportion for me. Tori. Agree or disagree with her? 7.5 over 12 and 5 over x. To double check, 7.5 and 5 come from the same triangle. Nicely done. Now we cross multiply. This is where people were having issues. Show your work. Don't skip steps. 7.5x equals 12 times 5 is 60. Then I divide by 7.5. X is 8. Should be 8. Okay? On your own, try the one on the right. A little triangle with an X and a 6. And I have a big triangle with a 8 and a 12. We need to put those two together to get that whole side. 6 is to 12 as X is to 8. 4. X to be 4. Okay, again, a lot of people are like, I don't know if I put these together or not. Draw them separately. If I need this whole triangle side, I have to put my 6 and my 6 together. Okay? All right. The two triangles below are similar. There's two things about being similar. Tell me what the two things are. When two shapes are similar, there's two things we know about them. Jacob, tell me one. The angles are identical. Very good. And what's the second one? JC? That's proven by the angles. The sides are proportional. The sides are proportional, meaning we can set up a scale factor, right? Okay, so this says angle D is 15 degrees, angle E is 105 degrees as shown below, and they have that in the picture. They want us to find the degrees of R, S, and T. Now, this statement right here says, assume the triangles are drawn or accurately drawn, meaning what looks like the biggest angle in DEF is going to match up with the biggest angle in RST. So a lot of times I say, oh, don't go by whether they're length or whatever, but this says yes, go by how it appears to match up. So how in the world am I going to figure out R, S, and T? They didn't give me anything over there. Jacob?
All you have to do is take the original and rotate it to the rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise.
Okay.
And then it'll back up so that you would with R, U, S.
Very good. We need to rotate that counterclockwise, and then our angles are going to match up. So E would match up with R. D would match up with, what'd you say? T. And then F would match up with S. Okay? So R is 105 degrees. T is 15 degrees.
And
How did you get 60, Gatlin? Very good. All triangles add up to 180 degrees. So when you have two of them, you absolutely can find that third one. Nicely done. Okay? Just a matter of identifying your transformations, as Jacob said, rotate that and match those angles up. Okay? Flip it over. A man wants to measure the height of a nearby tower. He places a 6-foot pole in the shadow of the tower so that the shadow of the pole is exactly covered by the shadow of the tower. The total length of the tower's shadow is 180 feet, and the pole casts a shadow that's 6.25 feet long. How tall is the tower? Round your answer to the nearest foot. The figure is not drawn to scale. So in this case, don't measure this because how big it is doesn't really pertain. They didn't draw it to scale. Now, round to the nearest foot, which means we are going to round to the whole number. Okay, don't forget we're going to go to the nearest whole number. I'm going to tell you right now, I think this diagram is garbage. We're going to have to pull those triangles apart anyway. So go back to Eduardo and Diane yesterday. Remember when Miss Hoff's terrible art skills came out? They were, well, thank you. Okay, so I have a 6-foot pole in the ground. How tall is it? 6 foot. And it shadows on the ground. How long is its shadow? 6.25, right? And then they said there's a tower. How tall is the tower? We don't know. That's what they're asking us. Very good. So let's make that X. How long is the tower's shadow? Very good. 180. Yep. Okay. Somebody set up this proportion for me. Raise your hand. Set it up for me. Somebody I've not heard from. I've heard from Nevaeh. Double checker. She good? I like it. Nicely done. On your own. Cross multiply. Find me how tall the tower is. I got 1,080, is that right? And then when you divide by 6.25, you get 0.8. Okay? But it's supposed to be 173. How do you know it rounds to 173? How do you determine whether it rounds up or stays the same?
it's half.
Okay, go to the number next to it. 1 digit over is all you do. If it's 5 or higher, then you're going to round it up. If it's less than that, you'll keep it where it is. Oh, is that what it says?
5 through 9 climbs the vine.
1 through 4
Stays on the floor.
stays on the floor.
5 through 9 climbs the vine.
5 through 9 climbs the vine. Interesting. Oh, Mr. Giles, he's a great guy. All right, this next one I'm going to use off of Alex. I'm going to show you on Alex because there's some tools I want you to use on there, maybe. That says my Alex timed out. I'll log back in here. Oh, come on. I can get into easily, otherwise I have to do a knowledge check. Okay. On this, the part that I want to go over is mainly the use of this ruler, okay? So there's a problem on your paper, but we're going to do the one that's up on Actually, it's the same one, isn't it? It is the same one. Sweet. So we're going to fill this out. So it says, consider triangles ABC and DEF shown below. I'm going to use your note sheet for right now. In triangle ABC, A is 44, B is 68. In DEF, D is 44 and E is 68. Use this information to find the following angle measures. They need us to find angle C and angle F. How am I going to find angle C and angle F? That?
You add A and B together.
Very good. So 44 plus 68 would give me 112. And then take your 180 minus your 112, 68. Is that right? Okay, and so that you said would give me which angle? Angle C. Okay. Now to find angle F, what would I need to do? The same thing. Now what's nice about this problem? They're the same numbers. So guess what angle F is? 68 degrees. Is that always going to be the case today? It's not. So make sure you're using A, B, and C together and then D, E, and F together. Okay, that part's pretty straightforward. This is the one I want to make sure we talk about here. Well, you said this was what? 68? Okay, so it says use the ruler to find the side lengths for each triangle. Assume all lengths are whole numbers. So you got to go and get the ruler up here. And I'm going to go from A to B. How long is that? 12. So then we fill in that blank. A to B is 12. Then we use the ruler. We go from, we go from B to C. 9. Then we go from C to A. 12. Oops. Then we go from D to E. 4. E to F. 3. And F to D. 4. Okay. Find the following ratios. Write your answer in simplest form. So now we're going to fill this out. How long was AB? 12. How long was DE? 4. Is that the simplest form?
No.
12 divided by 4 is
3.
3. So really that needs to be a 3. BC is 9. EF is 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. CA, 12. FD, 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3.
Well, when you show your work, do you have to show simplifying it?
On this problem, I don't think you're going to have a lot of work to show me if I'm being very honest with you. Probably don't have a lot to write down. Okay. For each pair of statements shown below, select the true statement. So the first option says the angles in ABC have the same measure as DEF, or they do not.
They do.
They were all the same?
Mhm.
Okay. The second pair, the ratios of corresponding side lengths are equal or they are not equal. Right here, these ratios,
Yeah.
they are. The last question, the triangles are similar, the triangles are not similar. They are similar. And then we click that check button and we're good to go. Good question is that most likely we're not going to have a lot of work on that one. Now I do want to show you they're not always going to be the same. This is the one we did in the last class period. They're not always the same. Okay? Even we measured it, we put the ratios ended up not being the same. So don't automatically assume that, okay? So on these problems where you're using the ruler, I don't expect to see work shown, but on the other ones, you're cross multiplying with your proportion, so please do have work paper. Grab some grid paper and get started.